Hey! Here we are, episode 8 of Rupauls Drag Race, season 10! So, the girls all come back into the workroom, and of course, we're straight back into the drama with Vixen, because of course, everybody voted for Vixen, and it's not Vixen's fault. She's not in the wrong. You should have voted for somebody else. You're all horrible. Alright, listen, we've heard it over and over and over again. The thing about this is, Vixen is always going on about how I keep it real, I keep it real, I keep it real. If everybody else in the room says that you're the problem, you're the problem. The reality of it is that Vixen is only real when it comes to other people. Next day, we're back into the workroom, and our mini challenge today is a kind of weird mix between season 2 Slap Fest and the RuPaul roast. So I'm kind of enjoying this, and it's called Slap Out of It. Oh, and of course we get to see a bit of Chad Michaels just before we start, which is nice that she's still working. The real gag in this is that Asia O'Hara actually gets slapped. It's pretty obvious who's going to win this challenge, whatever way it goes, and whoever's best, because you can't really physically assault somebody and then not let them win the challenge. So Asia O'Hara, $2,000 for a slap seems fair to me. This week's main challenge is Cher, the unauthorized Rosicle. Oh, yeah, a terrible Cher impression, but quite a lot better than some of the ones that we get in the challenge. Ru doles out all of the different shares that we're going to get. So actually, it's kind of like a night of 1,000 shares, isn't it? Feel free to share this video. Sharing is caring. Cameron Michaels is 60's share, which is right at the beginning of the career where she's with Sunny. Then we get Monet and Vixen, and they're both 70s variety show share. The Sunny and Cher show. Next up is Aquaria, who gets disco share. I mean, I love disco, so I would have been down with this. Then we get movie star share for Asia, which, unless you're really hooked into the movies, I think this is genuinely a more difficult share to portray, because each of the musical eras has got such a clear aesthetic. Eureka O'Hara gets rockstar share, and Ms. Cracker gets comeback share. Everybody's had their part passed out, and then Ru comes around and has a little chat with everybody. And at this point, pretty much everybody looks like they're going to be shit. Nobody is like massively into share like Ru is. Not everybody has a massive box of shareisms in order to plunge into and utilise. So it's quite difficult for a lot of the girls. And then they also have to sing live. There's 2 singers out of the whole group. Well, 2 people who say that they sing. Monet, who is an opera singer, so she's had proper training. And then you have Vixen, who says that she likes to sing as well, that that's her shtick. But when we come to everybody, in terms of making the Cher voice, not successful. Not successful at all. And even those who have got, singing ability, just don't seem confident in that ability in order to deliver a Cher performance. So it just feels like everybody has quite a long way to go as RuPaul is coming round and talking to people in the workroom. Then the girls have to go and have a rehearsal, and they have to do it with Todrick Hall. It's like, oh, there's a choreography challenge. What shall we do? Let's wheel out Todrick again. We've seen this a couple of times with Todrick, that the level of choreography is not always very even. For Cameron's, there isn't actually that much choreography that Cameron has to learn. She just has to deliver the performance and some very kind of basic movements. But then when you're looking at people like Monet and Vixen, their choreography is quite complex. And same for Asia. Asia has a lot of choreography that's not necessarily singer friendly. And so I think that, like some people, the way that the choreography is working is more conducive to a strong vocal performance than for others. As a choreographer, that is absolutely something that you need to think about when you're choreographing for a singer. You need to be thinking about, okay, how do I make it physically possible for this person to deliver a really top-notch vocal performance while also giving a great dance performance. I think in the rehearsal, Vixen does a really great job. She nails the choreography. The same cannot be said for Eureka, who just struggles right from the word go. And she says it's because she's had a traumatic experience with singing and her family and then a physical altercation. But as she says in her VT afterwards, it's a competition and you just need to work it out. You need to make it work. The one person who, out of everybody, really seems to be struggling is Asia, because she just isn't able to even pretend to imitate. You know, there is just so little change in the way that her voice is, in terms of the pitch and in terms of the tone, that there is no share there. It's just Asia O'Hara speaking some words and doing some choreography. So it's just a little bit... But it's the same for everybody. Everybody is in the same boat. Nobody is great at this point. Next day they're getting ready for the performance itself. And at this point, this is what I wish we'd seen earlier in the season for Vixen. Because Asia takes her to one side and talks to her about how she may not be completely fair to other people in the competition, and that she is projecting outside issues onto other people within the competition. And we get to see a much softer side to Vixen. It starts off a little combative still. Like, Vixen isn't willing to just give ground. She isn't willing to just listen. But as Asia is talking and being really supportive and loving, it allows Vixen to relax a little bit and be a bit softer. And this is what I wanted to see from Vixen earlier on in the competition, and it would have made me like her a lot more. The girls all finished getting ready, and now it's performance time. First out is Cameron Michaels, and she does a really good job. She looks like Cher, she's got some of the vocal mannerisms of Cher down, and she's got some of the physical stuff down as well. Then out comes Monet, and she's the 70s variety show Cher. And this is a great performance. If you actually watch what Monet is doing, like, her dancing is brilliant. And then she's delivering a really good vocal performance, along with, a lot of Cher-isms. Like, it's clear who she is portraying, even though she physically doesn't really look like Cher. Then we have the Vixen, another really strong dance performance. Vocally, there isn't much Cher in there, and the physical attributes of Cher aren't really there either. The costume is iconic. Anybody who's watched any clips of Cher on YouTube will have come across this particular performance, because it's one of the iconic performances in the history of Cher. There's just something about it that just doesn't quite align with Cher in it. Then we have Aquaria as Disco Cher. Another really good dance performance. Vocally, it's not great. It doesn't sound like there's any Cher in there. And physically, she doesn't really look like Cher. The makeup's not like Cher. None of it really reads like Cher. But in terms of a dance performance, it's good. And there's, you know, little jokes in there. And you can see, if you watch really carefully, that actually the costume is really unhelpful, because there's, like, everybody knows, if you have a dress with a train or you have a cape on, moving backwards, it is not a good idea. Not at all. Because it always gets caught in your heel, and you always end up then tipping over. And you can see that there are points where Aquaria is really, really aware of that being a potential issue. Then we get Asia as movie star Cher. It doesn't look like Cher, it doesn't sound like Cher, none of it reads as Cher. The only reason why I know that it's supposed to be about Cher is really because of its placement, that it's within this piece of lots of Chers. Otherwise I'd have no idea who it was supposed to be about. The choreography and the dance performance is okay, but you can see that none of it is secure. None of it is secure at all. Then we get Eureka! This is a surprise, isn't it, really? Because she's so introverted with this performance. We're so used to seeing Eureka being out there and full and taking up all the space. And in this, she's so tiny. And you can see the fear in her. And it's only really right towards the end of the performance where she's walking from one side to another, where she finally goes, oh, actually, this is fine. I haven't totally screwed this up. Oh, yeah. And she finally relaxes into it. Then we move on to Miss Cracker. And again, like a lot of the others, the makeup isn't really Cher. The vocal performance is not great, but does take on some of those Cher mannerisms, the idiosyncrasies in Cher's voice. It does sound a bit like her, and I know that that's who it's supposed to be about, but the rest of it is kind of not there. So it's, you know, out of the jigsaw puzzle, there's only one piece in, and the other bits are missing, so I'm not getting the full picture from Miss Cracker in terms of a Cher performance. Moving on from the performance itself, we get to the runway! This week's theme on the runway is glitterific. So I'm wearing my glitter dress. You may have seen it on The Voice. I'm also wearing some new nail gloves. These are by Heroin Amour, purchased for me by my beautiful husband. And I'm also wearing my jewels from sparklybits.co.uk. That was a nice little advert for you right there, wasn't it? I think most people did a good job on this. My favourites this week, though, were Eureka was my absolute favourite. She looked super glamorous. The dress was absolutely stunning, and I loved what she'd done with her wig. And she got read for it by Michelle about the lines on her face. I really liked those. I thought they were beautiful. And I think Michelle is being a little bit restrictive in terms of what she wants to see from people's makeup. It's very normal what she's wanting to see this season, it seems like. So the more theatrical makeup is just being read by her, and I don't really understand it. After her, I think my favourite was Miss Cracker. I thought the dress looked really lovely on her, and then with the skull puking glitter all down her, I thought that was really clever. And I know that Michelle said that she needed a lash on that other eye, and if she did have a lash there, I think it would have had to have been covered in gold glitter as well. So I don't know whether you would have actually seen it, because lots of glitter placed on glitter just looks like glitter. My next favourite was Aquaria's look. We have a drag queen who works in London who is called Virgin Extravaganza, and it was very similar to Virgin's look. However, Cameron looked absolutely stunningly beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. I really liked Vixen's dress. I thought it was really lovely, actually, and it was probably the most feminine shape that she's had all season. And I also really loved Asia's. I thought she looked absolutely gorgeous in her little clown outfit. The only one that I didn't really like was Monet. What she'd done round here was good, but then the actual garment itself was a bit of a mess. I didn't feel like this week there was a standout winner. Like, it wasn't clear to me exactly who was going to win. So this week Cameron Michaels wins. And would I have chosen Cameron Michaels? I think on balance, she was probably the only one that you could have picked, because none of it was terrible. You know, none of the little bits were just not good. It was all good. Was any of it great? Not really. And this week, it's really unclear exactly who is in the bottom. Is it going to be Aquaria? Is it going to be Miss Cracker? Is it going to be Asia? Is it going to be Vixen? Is it going to be Monet because of that dress? it's not entirely clear. So this week in the bottom, it is Asia O'Hara and the Vixen, which is, thinking about what's happened in the episode, is a bit of a gag, you know. The only person who's really reached out to Vixen is now the one that's in the bottom with her. I don't know whether that plays into the Vixen's performance in this, but it just isn't at the same level as Asia's at all. Asia's is really clever, really quirky, really funny, and Vixen's is just not that. And like I say, I think it's been a shame that it's taken till this point for us to see a softer side to Vixen, because I think it would have made her a much more likeable person. And so this week, what for a lot of us is 2 weeks too late, we wave goodbye to Vixen, and Asia O'Hara is safe. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back next week with episode 9. Apparently I can't count. Episode 9. And we'll see you then. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Have a lovely week, everybody.